Hey guys, hello. Welcome back. This is gonna be a totally separate video. Yes, I'm fully aware that I'm wearing the exact same outfit, but that's because I'm trying to film these in such a timely manner for you. And let's just keep it real. So I have 10 minutes to do this. My banana bread is, my sourdough discard banana bread is in the oven right now. So here are all the questions that I've received between the workshop and after the workshop from all of the workshop attendees, and then from other YouTube videos, and also just people messaging me on Instagram. So I'm gonna answer these. I'm gonna go through them as clearly and concisely as I can. So lots of questions about discard. Here's how discard works. It's really your starter, but you don't need to keep all of your starter if you're not going to be baking with it that day, because when you feed your starter, essentially whatever you have, say you have this much in a jar, whatever you feed it needs to be double that, so the same amount of that. So the more starter you keep, the more you have to feed it. If you're not feeding your starter enough, the starter that you're going to be baking with on a regular basis, it's just not going to rise. So you want it to be able to double. That's why anytime I'm getting ready to feed, hey sis, would you close that door a minute? Thanks, sweetie. I start hearing my kids come up, and I just know that this microphone on this camera picks up everything. Okay, so the reason you do the discard is so you can use less flour and less water when you're feeding it, while maintaining enough for your family and to keep it active. Why do you discard? That's why. How do you store your discard? If you're not just gonna throw it away, you store it in the refrigerator and you can keep it for months. I occasionally stir mine. Every once in a while, I'll just throw a little bit of flour and water in there, but not to make it really grow, just to feed it just a little bit, but very seldom, because we go through our discard very quickly. I'm always looking for different recipes. The crackers and I have made the banana bread 3 times this week because my kids love it that much, and it is Thursday, to give you an idea. Okay, so when you have your starter on the counter and you feed it, usually within a day's time in the summer, it might be more often, because remember, people were asking about the different factors that affect your starter. The weather affects your starter, how warm your house is, how dry or how humid your house is. So naturally, your weather is going to affect your starter. In the wintertime, it's going to take longer because you have your heat on. We keep our heat usually at 68 or 69 degrees, and it's dry. Some people keep it warmer, some people keep it less. That's why your starter has to adjust to your home, much like a finicky houseplant. Kind of silly, but actually very much true. So when you feed your starter, it's going to rise. You know it's peaked when your starter starts coming back down. And when it gets back down to about the amount that you had in there when you first fed it, that's when it is ready to be used or fed again. And if you feed it, it will do the same thing. Throw a little bit out, usually half of it out, keep the other half in there, you feed it, set that aside. Take the discard that you threw, that you poured out, either bake with it right then, store it in your refrigerator, or throw it away. If you bake with it right then, essentially you're feeding that discard because you're making something with it. I said that you store it right, your discard right in the refrigerator, and you can store it for a very long time, months. I've always done that, and I've had no issues. I told you the factors that affect it. So at this workshop, the 8 women that attended, they all have had little things that they have been messaging me about their starter and their house, and my answer was the same to every single one of them. Feed your starter for at least 3 days straight if you have a brand new starter that's been given to you from somebody else. The reason why is you should be able to bake with it right away if your house is just like mine. But if it's not, just give it a few days to get it nice and bubbly and active, all those air bubbles in there. You want it to be able to rise and fall and to adjust to the temperatures and humidity and dryness of your particular home. In the summertime, you will absolutely 100% find that your starter will rise and fall much quicker. And it will also have the potential to go bad quicker because you do have that moisture in your house, or just from the humidity, even if you're running your air conditioner. It's just a very real thing. So you will find that the seasons do greatly affect your starter. If your bread, okay, so a little bit more on the troubleshooting. If you're finding that your bread is not rising as much as what you would like, and it's been about 12 to 13 hours or however it was overnight, just give it more time. If it has risen a little bit, you know it's rising. It's just the conditions of your house are keeping it probably from rising as quickly as what you would like. That could be happening. Or the other thing that could be happening is that you're not feeding your starter enough. So if you feed your starter, what I've recommended, the 60 grams of water and 60 grams of flour, which is 60 grams of water is about a quarter of a cup and 60 grams of flour is about a half a cup. If you're doing that, then you can't keep much starter. But if you have a big jar of starter full and you want to keep all that and that's all you're feeding it, it will not be enough. So therefore it's not going to allow your bread to rise the way that you want, because it's just not active enough. It's not been fed. So if your bread is not rising, either do one of those two things. Wait a little bit longer. My yesterday's loaf rose for almost 24 hours and it was perfect. I slightly forgot about it on the counter because we got busy doing things, but it wouldn't have been ready to be baked much before then. And our house is cooler and dry. We keep our house, like I said, under 70 degrees. And then I was gonna say one other thing about that and I don't remember what it was. Oh, so it's either going to take longer or just feed it some more to get it going, and you will know. There have been many times throughout like season changes I'll feed it 3 days straight. One other tip that you could do, if you're thinking this, I've done this twice with the current starter that I've had. If I see it not rising the way that I want it to, I will go ahead and feed it a different type of flour. So I just use an all-purpose flour. I do not notice a difference when I use bread flour. That's just what I use right now. If I see that it needs some oomph, I guess that's a good word, sometimes I'll feed it an einkorn flour and it gets it going really, really well. And like I said, I've had this particular starter for about a year now, I think. Maybe not, I don't remember. No, I think it's been about a year. Whatever it is, I've done that twice throughout this year when I feel like it's just getting a little bit dull. Okay, I think those are the main questions. I tried to go through those quickly. I want these to be like your troubleshooting things. If you see a black liquid on your sourdough starter or on your discard, it can happen both places. It's called hooch, and it's black. It is not mold. You will know the difference. When I've had this happen to me one time when one of my extra sourdough starters started growing mold on it. It looks like black mold. That's not what this is. It's a dark grayish black or grayish liquid on the top. You can pour that off or you can stir it in. I have read pros and cons both ways. I've always stirred mine in. It does not taste bad. All that liquid is telling you is that it is time for you to feed your starter, if it's on your starter. If I have it on my discard and it's not too much, I will stir it in. You could drain it off then, or that might be when I might just throw in a little bit of flour and water. That's not going to hurt it. I'm not trying to get it to become active. I just want it to absorb some of that. So that's what, don't freak out if you see a blackish grayish liquid on the top, or sometimes it's even in the middle of your sourdough starter. Nothing to fear about that. Like I said, you take your preference as far as if you want to stir it in or if you want to drain it off. Okay, I think those were the majority of the questions. Hopefully I did this in a quick enough time for you. Hopefully you are at the point where you feel like this is very doable. And can I just tell you one thing? Like, people have asked me about, especially on Instagram, I do a lot of the in-between things, a lot of the questions and different things over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me over there, head over there. It's megwhite _ Haven Hill. And I do lots of different recipes and just all that stuff. Food is a wonderful thing. I'm very passionate about really good, simple food, but what I'm more passionate about is that you're sharing it with people and that you're building a beautiful life. Food, you will hear me say it until I'm in the grave, food is only a tool. And while I do enjoy delicious food, it still is just that. I shared this story just the other day. I was with my high school small group girls from our church and with the senior girls, and we had an evening together. I did not have time to make food for them because I was preparing for the sourdough workshop that I had the next day, and I was in my kitchen all day. It was a very long but wonderful day. And so I said, where do you guys want to go? And they chose McDonald's, and I just kind of smiled inside. And inside I was like, okay, of course, Lord, you would do that. Because what I want you to know is when we were sitting in McDonald's, you know, McDonald's is not known for being healthy, but when we were sitting in there, our conversation was wonderful. We talked about good, we talked about hard. Our roots just continued to go deep with each other. Oh, is it? Okay, thank you. That was perfect timing. I gotta go grab my bread. Our roots went so much deeper with each other over McDonald's food, but it wasn't McDonald's food, it was that we were sharing a meal together. So at the end of the day, do not lose sleep over your sourdough. Keep trying. Feel free to ask me questions. There are thousands of other videos, other people that you can follow. I will continue to link recipes that we love. And the reason why I will never have to write a cookbook on this is because I think the best one has already been written by somebody else. That is in my Amazon cart. All those links are below to make it doable and super easy for you. So, message me if you have questions. Feel free to email me, that's below. And follow us over on Instagram too, so you can get more tips and ideas of what we're doing and all the in-between things of the YouTube videos. So thank you for coming along on this simplifying sourdough series, or this journey. I hope you feel encouraged. Please feel free to share any of these videos, subscribe, like, it means a lot to us when you do. And the reason I'm a why person. The reason I even ask you to do that, I don't care about the numbers, but what it does is when you like and subscribe to a video, it helps it pop up in other people's feeds that might be watching similar videos or have similar interests. That's just how the algorithm works. So that's why I asked you to do that. Have a great day. I hope it's nice where you're at. It is incredibly blustery, windy. They say it's 40 degrees. It feels like it's well below freezing in my mind because we've had rain all day. So, all right, until next time, enjoy all of your sourdough adventures. Talk to you later.